Hello and welcome to episode 137 of Masters of the Forge. I'm Adam and this is Jason. Hi, Jason.
Sorry.
Don't die.
Yeah, I know.
Stop.
Hey, Adam, how's it going? Hello, everyone.
Oh, man.
Oh, this week's been fascinating.
Oh, yeah? Tell me about it.
Well, I don't have a whole lot done just because I've been ill and basically sitting up so that the congestion doesn't go into my ears. So
Cool,
instead
that
it goes into my
sounds like
stomach.
a pretty good excuse, but it's
Yeah.
still an excuse.
I know. The best part is it goes into my stomach, so then like my,
Then you got the bile.
Yeah,
that's
good. Yeah,
nice.
it's fun. Yeah. It's lovely. I'm sure that everybody wants to hear about, that.
Well,
So
they heard it whether they like it or not. So
I
that's
know.
good.
Yeah, that's what we do here. We give you everything you don't want. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Right.
That doesn't sound right.
There must be a lot of Drukhari players in the audience.
Well, we're not Splinter Mind, but
Let's
here we
all
go.
dance to the masochism tango.
Wow, okay, that could be a fun title.
Oh, well, it already is. It's a
Wait, what?
it's a song by another familiar type of love song is the passionate or fiery variety, usually in tango tempo, in which the singer exhorts his partner to haunt him and taunt him, and, if at all possible, to consume him with a kiss of fire. This particular illustration of the genre is called the masochism tango.
Nice.
I ache for the touch of your lips, dear, but much more for the touch of your whips, dear.
Whoa.
You can raise welts like nobody else as we dance to the masochism tango.
Wow. Okay.
At your command, before you here I stand. My heart is in your hand. Ugh. It
Yeah.
is here that I must be.
I'll have to listen to that later.
Oh, it's so good. So, we haven't actually started your progress yet. So go ahead.
No, we haven't. Okay.
Go ahead.
So I guess now we're going to wander off to hobby progress because it's going to be one of those days.
Tangent into the actual show.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We should do that. I like great ideas. I mean, I like to ignore them and then do them eventually. Anyway, all right. So hobby progress. So I haven't done a whole lot just because I've been sick. Basically a week of congestion's not a whole lot of fun. Don't worry, it's nothing catching. It's been really mild actually, so it's kind of stupid.
Oh, so it's just the Coors Light virus.
Sure, why not?
Or the Tecate virus.
Dude, Tecate is a virus.
Hey, did you ever see the Tecate commercial where, like, the Americans, the Americans and the Mexicans are sharing Tecate across the border? It's the beer of, like, brotherly love and togetherness.
Whenever
That was a great commercial.
I have not seen that commercial, but whenever I was a kid, like, teenager, I was in Matamoros, which is across the border, down by my office, one of my offices, and the Tecate girls were there. There's always the people giving stuff away, and yeah, let's just say it, that 16 years old, 15-year-old, however old I was, that was pretty amazing.
For you?
And we're going to leave it alone right there. Right there. All right, back to hobby progress. Been ill. Not a whole lot.
In case you guys didn't realize, there was a hard cut there while Jason took 10 minutes to himself and then came back.
Well, yeah, that's cool.
So, your hobby progress.
Yeah. Oh, boy. It's going to be one of those those episodes. Woohoo. Okay.
Hey, we're only 5 minutes in.
Yeah, we're only... Yeah, right? Oh,
I had
boy.
coffee this morning, unlike last time.
Oh, okay. And the thing is that we've got one whole... one whole segment where we're going to improv that. It's... Okay, I need to make sure I get coffee before that. Okay, here we go. So, actual hobby progress. So I actually was able to go to the store the other day just because I was finally like a human being, and I kit bashed these four-armed snake things for my buddy Da.
Nice.
And it's I think I posted them on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. The snake bodies come from the Starside War game from Archon Games, which like they've released models. I have a feeling they may have been models that were given out at Adepticon last year, because you can find a bunch of them on eBay. You know, people are just selling them for like nothing. So I have a feeling that they were probably part of the VIP swag bag.
Okay.
But they are really cool. They've got some really nice bases. I mean, just actually some really nice sculpts. So I did was I took the bodies, and then I took a head, this kind of Cerebus three-faced face. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Whatever. But that came from a Kingdom Death model.
Okay.
And then I don't know which one. These are all Dawes bits, and so I was just kind of digging around in his bits box and started kit bashing weird stuff for giggles. And also he kind of asked about this one. Then I took like 4 arms and swords from like the Wraith boxes. I don't know which Wraith it is. It's, you know, one of the Eldar things. So anyways, this is like, there's 2 of these 4 armed guards. As one of our listeners, Martin, said.
Are there 4 armed guards or 4 armed guards?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so each one's got 4 arms. And the thing is, because of the way that the body moved, I mean, he wanted a lot of movement in it, and fortunately I could do that pretty well. You know, it looks like they're coming right at you, swinging swords from all directions.
Sweet.
I think he's already painted them, because I kit bashed them on Thursday. And then I was still digging through his stuff, because, you know, it's not my gear, so whatever. Yeah. And I kit bashed this funky servitor. All right, so it has like a spider-like lower body, like there's kind of a mechanical spider, and it kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you read this comic from Marvel, but from Mojo from the New Mutants Marvel Universe.
Okay, yeah, Mojo used to be in Generation X. I thought he was dead.
Oh, he may be. I mean, it just reminded me of whenever he first showed up in the Long Shot series, I believe.
Okay. Well, anyways.
But yeah, so I added a Warcry axe so that, you know, he'd have a really rad little axe. And then I had this large Tau weapon, because if you buy a Tau box, you always have like 5 million Tau bits that are there.
Well, clearly.
So I put that on there, but, you know, the profile of Tau weaponry, I mean, you can look at it and go, I don't know what that's from, but that's the Tau line. So I added all these pipes from the Eldar Wraiths that I chopped off, just to break up the profile, so that when you looked at it, it didn't look so much like a Tau weapon anymore, but it looked like some sort of AdMech mutated thing. So that was pretty cool.
I approve.
Yeah.
Not that you need my approval.
Well, you know, it's not my thing. And this is going into our Inquisition Wars campaign, so, which I'm not going to talk about much this time, because I didn't get a lot of games in. Let's see. The last thing in my hobby progress, I realized, like, I have a bunch of hobby progress, but not a whole lot, because I just didn't do anything.
Fair.
I'm magnetizing my Exalted Sorcerers to both 32mm bases and also the Discs of Zinch. I just need to pick up some heavier magnets for the feet, because I went and put just some metal strips on the soles, and there's just too much distance between the magnet and the sole of the foot, so I need to change that. But I think it'll work. It looks like it'll work. So we'll have to see. Oh, and last thing, I might be buying a lot of Kroot Hounds.
So putting the call out right now?
Well, one of our locals had like a box that he's thinking about selling, or maybe he wants to sell. And he sent it last night, and I kept thinking, you know, what would be a really cool narrative game is if, you know, during this Inquisition Wars, they get onto, you know, my Inquisitor ship and, like, wander into the Hound pens. Because she always carries, you know, she always runs a couple of Kroot Hounds in all of her, in all my lists.
Yeah.
So, you know, what happens? Busy? Well, you know, Kroot Hounds die. So, you know, you got to keep some around.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be kind of funny to, like, you know, walk into like maybe a level or something like that that's just full of Kroot Hounds.
I like it.
Yeah, it sounds funny. I mean, because like, I think there's 6 points each, and then 200 points. Yeah, that's it's about 30, 33. So yeah.
Okay.
So that might be something that we can pull off. I don't know yet. Don't send me crude hounds. Okay. Just yeah.
Methinks thou dost protest too much.
No, that's the only reason I'm afraid to say anything about this, because I know our listeners. I know our listeners. I'll be sitting here with like 80 of them, like, now what? I've got to paint all these.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's my hobby progress. You know, not a whole lot, but some stuff.
No, it's pretty good. I mean, hey, it's only been like a week and a half, and part of that you were editing a show, so that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. What about you, man? I've seen some interesting stuff.
I got all kinds of interesting stuff. So I finished painting that Megatrack Scrapjet. So I already have one that's blue and so they're all blue and yellow, but some stuff is mostly blue with some yellow accents. Some stuff is mostly yellow with some blue accents. So I have one each of the Scrapjets right now. So this one I did like a half scheme. So half of it is yellow, half of it is blue. With the blue side has yellow rims on its wheels, and then the yellow side has blue rims on its wheels, that kind of thing. So that one will be placed when I deploy them. It'll be placed in between the other two. Okay. When I place them as a unit.
Oh, all right.
So that was good. Dude, I painted that in like 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, like crazy. I also painted that when I painted that the kangaroo, I painted that in like 3 or 4 hours. Like, I'm getting these medium-sized vehicles done like mad quick.
Yeah, I found that was my sweet spot also. It was like I could get
don't die.
I get those. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm trying not to cough directly into the mic. Looks like it's okay. Yeah, I remember like rhinos are really quick for me to do.
Yeah,
you know, those medium size, because you know, if you have a large enough brush, you know, the dry brush gets what you want. So that's nice.
Yeah, and I did some streaking like I've been doing, where you get these kind of action lines in there. It's been pretty good. I like doing that. I repainted 15 bikes. Last time I said I needed to do 7, but I forgot. I just forgot. I didn't realize that the ones I had already repainted, like back in the day, like a few months ago, right, I'd only added the blue, like replaced the red with blue. I hadn't actually done any additional highlights on the yellow. They were still the pale, like white with yellow wash thing. Yeah. And the brown wash, like my quote unquote sepia wash, was actually just brown apple barrel paint mixed with water, and that's just not. That does not hold a candle to any of GW's, Reichum Flesh Shade or whatever. So I did that on those. So it was more like 15 bikes, but that's fine. They look really good, and they're all on new bases. I ordered some bases online for those, and I realized when I did them that the bases I put my knob bikers on were actually not the right bases. They're actually too small. But I don't care. I just don't care. I'm done. Yeah. They're already on there, and I'm not going to try to carve them off for the base. If people want to give me stuff, whatever.
Yeah, oh man, that would be tough to pull those off.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So Josh from California, Josh.
Yeah. The 1 hour. He's on 1 hour night and the ICs, I think.
Yeah, he's like. I posted I posted a picture of my trees or whatever, some stuff I was working on, and he's like, that doesn't look like your kind of hobby progress. Oh yeah, when I just posted a picture of like a tank. He's like, yeah, that's not enough. I'm like,
where's the rest of it?
Yeah, where's the Adeptus Titanicus? I'm like, you're a jerk. And then he's like, oh, yeah, we're doing Adeptus Titanicus team tournament. We're going to have our Adeptus Titanicus at Adepticon. I'm like, fine. Fine. So I built all my Reaver Titans, and I sprayed them, and I'm starting to get some washes on them. They're chaos. Well, they're traders.
Yeah.
Legio something. Godbreakers, whatever. They're called the Godbreakers, and they're like a green, this pale green and gray scheme. So I bought some Dark Angels green contrast.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm washing the metallics with that. It's very diluted with the contrast medium.
Right.
Because these contrast colors have a lot of pigment in them.
Yes, they do.
A lot. Like you can't just brush that on. No. So I am tinting all the gold and silver with that, and hopefully it'll kind of it'll be a little less contrast between the metallics and the actual colors, which I kind of want. So with the green, I think I'm gonna do Mars bases, even though this Legio was featured in the Battle of Talarn. I'm gonna do Mars bases. So I'm going to paint the base. I'm going to use like rocks and sand and stuff for the bases, but I'm going to paint it black. Okay. And then I'm going to use the pigments, my red and brown pigments for they're rust colored pigments for those bases right over the black. I think that should get me what I'm looking for in that regard. And I think that'll be good contrast with the green of the knights.
Okay, yeah, red, green, yeah, that should do it.
Yep, yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll note that I these are all Warhammer things, and I have a birthday party to prepare. It's fine.
Yeah, it's all right. You're cool. Yeah,
I'm the best dad.
Hey man, it'll be entertainment. It reminds me I need to send something too, because
I like it.
I gotta figure that out.
I cut out the little blue truck for the photo booth, but I haven't cut out the windows yet, so I need to do that. I'll post that on 1 Hour a Night today.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Just to show it off. Also,
yes,
we had an incident the other day, yesterday or Friday. We had an incident Friday. I had to stay home with Quinn for various reasons, and I decided, well, I might as well get something done here while I'm here, and he's bored with me. So I put him in the playpen, and I took out some silver spray paint to spray paint the knights, or sorry, the titans. And it wouldn't spray. I'm like, oh, what happened? I take the nozzle off, and then I see inside that the nozzle's clogged. I'm like, oh, gross. So I get out my little hand drill, and I start drilling into the nozzle just to get the junk out. It's working. I like pull it out, and there's junk in the drill. I'm like, okay, cool. I drill. And all of a sudden, freaking silver spray paint starts oozing everywhere. Like, no! Like my keyboard is splattered in spray paint. Like, no! And I'm like, no! And I'm covering it, trying to like keep the fumes away. And I forget that there's a garbage can right in the bathroom next to me. Instead, I run all the way downstairs with silver spray paint oozing all over onto the floor, and I eventually get it into the garbage can. And I'm like, oh, crap. So I kind of rinse my hands off a little bit, and I go and get the baby, and I take him out of the upstairs because I don't want him to get the fumes, right?
Right.
So I put him in the living room, and as I'm starting to clean the floor with the mineral spirits, he starts crawling in the silver spray paint immediately. I'm like, no, don't do that. And I grab him, and he's covered in silver spray paint. I'm like, no. So what else can I do? I strip him down, and I start cleaning him off with the mineral spirits, which, sure, that's fine.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
I'm trying to do it in the sink, and I'm like, this is just not working. I throw him in the bathtub, I clean him off, and I have to like keep checking on him so he's not drowning. As I clean the floor with the mineral spirits, I'm cleaning that up. So I get the floor all cleaned up and the baby all cleaned up. And I'm like, okay. I pick him up and I bring him to change him and put him in clothes. And I look and I'm like, wait, why are you all painty again? Oh, Dad's still covered in paint. So I have to take him back down, clean him again with the mineral spirits, give him another bath, clean myself off. Then we're good. Unfortunately, the house now reeks
of mineral spirits, and
it says it's odorless. Yeah, it's not odorless.
No.
It is fumes. It is fumes.
Yeah.
And also the spray paint fumes are like, well, we're leaving. Let's go. So I take him out for the whole day, and I'm like, I hope Wendy doesn't freak out about the fumes, about the smell, because I opened all the windows and everything. And when she gets home. She gets home later. I'm like, hey, babe, what's up? She goes, what's that smell?
What did you do?
What did you do?
What did you do?
I'm like, what, babe? What's going on? Quinn's like, what? It was fine. Yeah, it was a very exciting day. We went to the Warhammer store.
Oh, yes, I saw that picture.
He immediately made a beeline for the Nurgle Pox, whatever, the
Maggotkin, right?
The Maggotkin of Nurgle box. I'm like, yeah, you know what's up.
Yeah.
And his birthday is 3/7. It's this weekend, and we're gonna have fun.
Yep, all the numbers of Nurgle and the Death Guard.
The birthday party is actually the day of episode release.
Okay.
So,
it'll get done.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
So, I don't know if you've ever heard this tune, Skeeter, from the Melvins.
Mm-mm.
Okay. It's Dave Grohl talking about one of the guys in his band named Skeeter and what he does. And he's just like, and we were in Amsterdam in the background. Just this story has accompaniment. And what I was going to say is that needs accompaniment. That needs like some metal background,
Well, I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, for those of you out there, Skeeter does have a not safe for work sentence at the end, actually in a couple of places. Yours is the G-rated version. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Anyway.
Yeah, so that was my week. I got
funny.
a lot done. I actually don't need to do anything for Adepticon. I'm just doing these Titans because I need something to do with my hands,
Yeah.
So I'm perfectly fine. I'm not going to paint anymore. I'm not going to paint the additional orc terrain.
Right.
My board is already too full.
Got
However,
it.
I'm depending on how the birthday goes, I might cut out some particle board for not particle board, whatever, pressure board. MDF for a display board because this metal one is way too heavy to carry on the plane.
Oh, yeah, that's...
So I might go ahead and do up a new display board just for Adepticon friendly, and I'm going to use the orc terrain I already have as scatter
cool.
scatter on that display board.
Yeah.
Jason, did you get any games in?
Not a ton. I did get in... All right, so our Inquisition Wars thing, we're just really, we're really working the narrative on that and trying to give background to everybody. And so I did get one Demons game. It's Demons versus Followers of the Space Pope narrative game. For those of you who don't know, our Gene Stealer player has fully bought into this, that his Inquisitor, his Gene Stealer cult infected Inquisitor is the Space Pope. And so he's created a couple of interesting things. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Anyways, I ran a Demons game for him just to give him a chance to pick up some more data, and it's been fun. I mean, I was basically playing kind of dumb. If I'm tired and don't want to kill my Inquisitor on accident, I'll just run a Demons list,
right?
And so we've had demons show up a few times as this is something that's happening, and the Space Pope is trying to get he's trying to, if I remember correctly, combine demon essence with an Amble and with a Necron technology. So
Makes
this gives
sense.
this gives him a chance to kind of work that narrative a little bit more. I was sick this week, so I didn't. Like, I was too tired to even game. Like, whenever I went to and did all the kit bashing for my hobby progress, I was actually there to game, and I kind of just sat there at the table before we started playing. I was like, I can't do it. I'm too out of it. So
Understood.
I am trying to set up a 40K game though the next week or so, hopefully, just so I can get some practice with my Thousand Suns, because I haven't played a game with them as a 40K army. And so I don't want to go to Adepticon and be a total schmuck.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not actually going to be playing in the friendly or any of that. This is just pickup games, hopefully with listeners or with friends from other podcasts. But I don't want to go through and, completely mess it up. I have put together like a binder so I can actually get to my rules quicker. So, because
Binders full of rules.
Binders full of rules, yeah.
That is a reference that some of our younger listeners won't get.
No, that's very true. That has been a long time.
That's very funny.
Yeah. Actually, when I first started 40King, about that time period. So anyway, no, I put that binder together just because I don't know the rules that well, and I need to learn them. And if I have the binder there, then I don't have to go back and forth with the rule books and be paranoid about that. Let's be honest, I'm not going to sit there and get real huffy on some of the rules, so it's no big deal. Yeah.
Literally, no one should.
Yeah.
Someone in the Facebook page, the IC's Facebook page, said that some of their friends like dropped from the 40K friendly because of the Space Marines nerf that happened this week.
What?
Why? If you're in the 40K friendly, what do you care?
Yeah.
I'm very confused. Anybody who's listening to this, if you've joined the 40K friendly to play a competitive game of Warhammer, you're doing it wrong. If your friends are doing that, you need to tell them, listen, that's not what this is for.
No. I will say one thing about the nerf. I'm glad that it happened because I was having way too many people trying to buy all of my Thunderfire cannons.
How many do you have?
Well, okay, so I've got one official GW version, which I love. And then I have, I think they're Cromlech. I'd actually built them. I'd actually picked them up so that I could prox them in 30K as trying to remember what unit that was. Basically, they are the same height, the same dimension, almost perfectly as a Thunderfire cannon. And I've got 3 of them, and I have them just for fun. I mean, they're really fun to paint up, and they're really cool, and I just never play them. And a couple of my locals were trying to buy them off of me. And I was like, no, I know what you're doing. Go away. So, I'm happy that I'm not having that being sold off to me. Or not being sold off, but at least, people asking, hey, can you buy it? Can I buy it? Can I buy it? Can I buy it? So I'm okay with that. The nice thing is I can go pick up some cheap Leviathans now, which, there we go. That's where it's at.
See,
baby.
there's always a silver lining, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they'll look real good as Blood Ravens.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if they've been painting some other color, then I can just paint over that.
You can actually tell what Legion it used to belong to.
Yeah, sometimes I can do that. I did discover if I went through and painted over the Raven Guard that it made the red even more pronounced. So, which I don't understand because I think it's because I use a blue-black to paint my Raven Guard the vehicles. So maybe that blue-black is giving some extra depth on the red I'm using. So
could be.
Yeah, could be. All right, man. So I see you've got some games in, including one you're going to talk about when we talk about your army.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I did get a game with my Cabal, but we'll talk more about that because it's part of the narrative of my army.
Yeah.
I did play Age of Sigmar with Mike and with Tucker. Just trying to get those games in with my Caradron Overlords.
Right.
I just need more practice with everything, dude.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm losing my mind here. I'm even having to look up rules playing my orcs, so it's not great.
Yeah. Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Not that people are going to super care, but it would be nice for our games to be smooth at Adepticon,
Yeah.
not like, oh, let me look all this crap up. However, I did notice there's, butt scribe. Keep butt scribe in mind. It's amazing.
That's what I used for my binder full of rules.
Yeah, that's real good.
Oh, yeah.
And for Age of Sigmar, there is a website called Aos Reminders.
Yeah.
You put in every unit that you're using in your army, and you put in all your factions.
Right.
And for each of your units, you select whatever the things they have, like traits and stuff. And then down below, it prints out the phases of the game and all of the things you have to do in those phases.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
like that.
you tap the movement phase, and it'll show you all the things you have to declare in your movement phase. And you tap the hero phase, and it tells you all the things you have to remember in your hero phase. People are requesting this for 40K. It's not as necessary in 40K, but it would be nice.
I'm requesting it now. That sounds amazing. Yeah.
Jason, it's time to go beyond the fringe.
Yeah. One
Don't
part
die!
One part sick, one part, lack of sleep. Oh, man. Beyond the Fringe. Yeah, my Beyond the Fringe is pretty easy. Sleep. I'd like more of it, please. Okay, thanks, bye.
No.
Being ill is kind of terrible, so... Yeah.
No sleep for you.
Yeah, how about this?
No
Benadryl.
sleep till... Schaumburg.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've got so much painting to do. This is going to be rough.
I don't have any.
Find a fire. You know the rest.
Yeah.
I'll send you directions if you want. What about you? I see you got something interesting here. Talk to me about that.
Yes, I went with my friends
Yeah.
on a North Country snowshoe hike to the Berry Mill Pond Lean-To
Well, that sounds
in
cool.
the Adirondack State Park. Yeah, I love snowshoeing.
I've never
love
done
it.
that. Yeah.
Oh, so I know you like walking in the wilderness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always did
Imagine-
like those Friday the 13th movies.
Imagine walking through the wilderness and
Yeah.
there are no mosquitoes. No
That
heat,
sounds
no
amazing
heat.
already.
Yeah, no heat.
Yeah.
You do sweat, but whatever.
Oh, yeah.
No rattlesnakes to worry about. It is no rain.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's literally the best.
That does sound pretty awesome.
We did have to break trail though. There was like between 6 inches and 2 feet of snow.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so we had to take turns breaking the trail.
Yeah.
But going back down was, and there wasn't really much elevation either. So it was a really easy hike.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're breaking 2 feet of snow, you kind of want it to be an easy hike.
Right.
About 6 or 7 miles, because the road up to the trailhead itself was not plowed. Because it was, well, the park was closed, so there's
okay.
there was like maybe 2 tire tracks of some 4-wheel drive vehicle that went up and back down a couple times, but that does not count as being plowed for sure. So
No.
it was
No.
it was
Not
it
at
was
all.
a really nice time. It was sunny and I had my sunglasses. We did start the day out at -9 degrees Fahrenheit. But again, as long as you have enough layers on, you're good.
Yeah, that is true. That is something I remember from living up in upstate.
Jason, do you hear that? We have an astropathic communique coming in. Oh, but it's garbled. Oh no. Oh no. I guess we'll have to pick it up next time.
Yep.
In the meantime, I think we need a quick break.
Yeah.
Hey Archons, tired of the boring predictability and efficiency of stuff that always works? You need the Slip Party Bus! Got an extra 473 points that you can't find a solid use for? You need the Slip Party Bus! You could spend 420 points on 3 reliable Lance Ravagers pumping out 9 Darkland shots per turn that'll only give up 3 victory points, or you can drop 473 points on 2 Archons, 8 Slip, and a Raider for 11 victory points. You need the Slip Party Bus! The classic Slip Party Bus. Still awesome. Party Bus! Still hilarious. Party Bus! It's the Slip Party Bus! If you love the Slip Party Bus, you'll want to check out our other exciting products. We have the Rack Wiffle Ball Bat, the Trueborn, and the Blood Bride. Trueborn and Blood Bride models no longer available. The classic Slith Party Bus. Still awesome. Still hilarious. It's the Slith Party Bus!
This is Rob Sanders, and you're listening to the Masters of the Forge, where the world of 40k comes to life on your tabletop.
Greetings, mofos.
Are you out of George Dickel number 8, staring at a broken chess machine?
Don't want to spend the rest of the year tied to that couch?
Well, why don't you head on over to the 1 Hour a Night Facebook page and see what exciting stuff is going on there. It's a place to post all your daily progress in the hobby grind, as well as receive and give positive feedback. Also, there are usually a few interesting challenges going on.
That's right. All you have to do is search for 1 Hour a Night on Facebook. That's numeral 1 Hour a Night, all one word. Blood serum tests will be administered prior to approval.
Sett til helvete og kom dere vekk. Det er ikke en bikkje, det er en slags ting. Den imiterer en bikkje, men det er ikke det. Kom dere vekk, idioter!
What he said.
Okay.
Welcome back. So, this episode is about the lore of 2 of our armies. Kind of I wouldn't say your Thousand Suns are recent, but I think, there's a lot of new stuff out there for them, and they're kind of together now. Right. And my Dark Eldar army, I've been talking about it for a while, but I really haven't delved too deep into the lore for it.
Right.
So this episode will be somewhat self-serving, but that's fine.
That's
I like
fine.
it.
We're good.
I mean, we
High
only
five.
spend like hundreds of hours on this podcast a year. We can be self-serving if we like. So I hope everybody's ready for story time. Yeah. For my portion is going to be very much story time. Yeah. Where Jason's section is going to be kind of an exploratory thing. Well, so that'll be a lot of fun, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So
I'm looking forward to both of them. But I know that we're going to be idiots during mine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But we're going to be brilliant during yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or vice versa. Or they'll stop listening during mine and never even hear what we have to say about yours. That'll be fun.
No, they like me.
Yeah, they'll suffer through it or just hit the skip button about 40 times. All right, cool. I like it. So let's start by talking about the Star Mantle family. Okay. Sit back, get yourself a warm drink, perhaps tea, or perhaps some scotch or some nice port. I don't know. This isn't really a dessert, but have a dessert wine. It's fine.
Yeah, man. It's fortified. It's good for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So Airedale and Vandir's Star Mantle were born on the Dominion Genesis vessel, the Sower of the Stars. So Dominion Genesis vessels are cool. They're basically the ships that were used to create the Maiden Worlds.
Oh, okay.
They're terraforming ships, Eldar terraforming ships.
Oh, cool. I'm going to learn a lot today.
The Star Mantle family and their retinue were responsible for directing the terraforming process and defending the Maiden Worlds they were helping to create. Eldari was the older sibling and eventually took command of the Ailea's squadron of vampire support craft. Although few dared threaten a Dominion genesis, she made a point of reminding nearby alien worlds, often with a show of force, that the Eldari were not to be disturbed. Raids on the child races were more often than not followed by lavish parties, featuring a creative mixture of music, exotic narcotics, and disturbing magics.
Okay.
You know,
like
Eldar.
a Led Zeppelin show. Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically a Led Zeppelin show. When Led Zeppelin comes to town.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, keep going.
Vandir was born shortly after the founding of the Exodite cause. He was deeply affected by the time spent with a group of settlers who stopped briefly at the Ailea, searching for a world to call their own. Although most of the family spurned the Exodites, Vandir listened intently and responded with compassion. In time, Vandir took after their parents, learning to shape worlds and breathe life into barren landscapes where there was none. So these Exodites came and they're, hey, I see you build worlds. We're looking for a world. And the Star Mantle were like, no.
Yeah.
But
Worlds.
Yeah, ours.
Yeah.
But anyways, shortly before the coming of She Who Thirsts, Eldari had left the Ailea altogether in search of greater heights of violence. Vandir, however, had become a master of his craft and was obsessed with building the perfect world, free from disease, hunger, or sorrow. So the interesting thing about the Maiden Worlds was they were designed to resist disease and like attack any kind of like vermin that might show up on the world. Like, so even
Right.
Tyranids showing up on a Maiden World might not fare very well.
Oh, that's cool. I did not know that lore.
Yeah, Maiden Worlds basically have built-in defense mechanisms, which makes them very dangerous. Like, the Imperium might classify them as death worlds because some
Right.
of them are built to be so offensive to anything that's not a Eldari.
That does explain a couple of books I read. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He was on the verge of a breakthrough with flora capable of tempering unwanted emotions when the Exodites returned to the Ailea and begged Vandir to come with them. They bore an impassioned warning of what was to come. When he spurned them, unwilling to turn his back on his family and his work, they abducted him and bore him into the webway. Meanwhile, Eldari felt her brother's peril, even during the heat of a particularly vicious raid on a human colony. Although her sense of altruism was all but non-existent at that point, the bonds of Eldari siblings can be simultaneously mystifying and clarifying. Moreover, Eldari was enraged that someone would have the audacity to encroach on her personal dominion, meaning her family.
Right.
When she flew to Vandir's rescue, it was less from a sense of duty or pity, but a jealous, animalistic, territorial fury.
Yeah. That's healthy.
When She Who Thirsts was born into reality, both Eldari and Vandir were shielded from the catastrophe within the relative safety of the webway. Eldari was in pursuit of her brother, who was aboard the Exodite vessel bound for their maiden world. The birth pangs of Slaanesh sent a wave of metaphysical quakes through the webway, shaking it down to its core. Eldari's ship crash-landed in some shadowy corner of the ways, and she blacked out. When she came to, there was no sense of Vandir anywhere, only a hollow memory. For a time, Eldari sought her family, Vandir included, but wherever she went, she only found the ruin of her species and her culture. Her soul became drained of any joy or happiness. As with many Eldari of her time, she was eventually drawn to the Dark City by some unseen psychological gravity. Eldari found a home with the Cabal of the Dying Sun, where her spite for the weakness of the Eldari race, and secretly her family and herself, fueled her ruthless rise to power and influence. So the Cabal of the Dying Sun is an established faction in the lore.
Right.
We talked about it when we talked about the I think we did one on the Cabals.
Yeah, we did. We had Brian come on, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
So they are disdainful of not only other species and the other craft worlders, but also their own people, like the Drukhari.
Right.
Naturally born Drukhari, also known as trueborn, often look down on others and enjoy special privileges in Drukhari society. They make up the bulk of Kamara aristocracy.
Okay.
The Cabal of the Dying Sun takes us to another level. Their feelings of superiority go way beyond simple nationalism or speciesism, but they genuinely believe their inherent genetic purity, which is not great. Although this has provided the Cabal a measure of clarity, it has made them insular in the extreme. The Cabal sits jealously guarding their holdings in their Kamara stronghold of the Pinnacle of Disdain and its countless relics from a bygone era. They have like a ton of these weird Eldari relics that they kind of hide jealously from the others.
Right.
Their raids, competition with other Cabals, and internal strife have a lasting effect on the ranks of Trueborn among the Cabal. So the more Trueborn who die, it's so hard to make natural Eldar.
Yeah.
Whether they're Drukhari or craft worlders or what. Because they have a
yeah.
long gestation period, and it's just not easy. Other Dark Eldar are grown in vats.
Yeah.
Some of them regrown, which is interesting.
Huh.
So this dwindling population hasn't gone unnoticed or unmarked by the denizens of the Pinnacle of Disdain, Eredile included. Although trust is in short supply in the Dark City, Eredile was always known to be good at her word in matters of business. However, when she's been the target of a double cross, she's always come out with her skin intact and followed up with a brutal campaign of vengeance. As such, her star rose over the millennia, and she took her place as a subordinate archon to Vorel Zolianth. As the leader of the Shard of the Darkest Star, Eredile executed raids throughout her old stomping grounds in Ultima Segmentum in Archon Vorel Zolianth's name.
This is why I'm not volunteering to read any of this. Because I saw those names and went, no, Adam knows how to pronounce those.
Archon Vorel Zolianth, he's pretty cool. He chooses to execute all of his raids at dusk.
Oh, okay.
At sunset, because he likes that is a good. It tells the story of life in general.
Wow, that's dark. Okay,
it's pretty interesting.
Well, that's the name of the old. Well, that was the original name of the Death Guard. Was the Dusk Raiders?
Yes, they're the same way.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
During a conflict with a small but favored and well-equipped Cabal, an Eldar Archon named Kez Volkus, leader of the Shard of the Ancient Blade, was put in charge of the operation, while Eredile's Shard and 3 others acted as boots on the ground. Kez sent Eredile to make a deal with the enemy, in the hopes that they would cede his territory. Vor Zolianth desired without bloodshed. Unfortunately, she was merely bait for a deadly ambush. Eredile was not made aware of this plan, ostensibly to ensure the meeting seemed legitimate, thus maintaining an element of surprise. Eredile's force was badly mauled by both the ambushers and the enemy Cabal. She lost a lot of good allies in that ill-conceived action. And while Eredile did survive the encounter, she was forced to send many of her fallen to the Fleshcrafters to be reborn in their arcane amniotic vats. I guess you can remake a Drukhari from just like a piece. It's interesting.
That is interesting. But then that begs the question: if you have 2 pieces, can you make 2?
And also, where do their memories come from? I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have to read more into it or ask Brian. Enraged, Eredile drummed up support within the Cabal and from Archon Vorel Zolianth himself, who appreciated her audacity, then struck Kez and the Shard of the Ancient Blade while they reveled in their victory, basically Red Wedding style.
Yeah.
Many were slain or captured. then sold to the homunculi to be used for whatever grisly experiments they had in mind. Eredile made an exception for Archon Chaos himself, whom Eredile kept as a keepsake in the main hall of Hershard's apartments. Visitors to the Pinnacle of Disdain frequently make an effort to see the spectacle for themselves during their stay. A vat of bubbling liquid hanging from a cobweb ceiling within which writhes a slim figure. The fluid is acid, constantly recycling and reconstituting itself, while the body inside is fed rejuvenating medicines, constantly in the state of dissolution and regeneration. His nerves never dulling to the unending agony.
Ugh.
It's gross, right?
Yeah, it's kind of... But for the Dark Eldar, I mean, it's a torment and a torture, but also, isn't it not?
It is if you're the one, yeah. Not all pain is pleasure. Yeah. So, one of the true dreads of the Drukhari is boredom and malaise. Untold centuries of committing the vilest acts and the most unspeakable atrocities can wear on the soul and break the mind of even the most canny Eldari.
Yeah.
With the coming of the Cicatrix Maledictum and the eroding of the webway, it has been necessary for Eredile and her shard to remain in the Pinnacle for far longer periods than they've been accustomed. In this time, Eredile has suffered from the ennui of nihilism. Although she was certain she knew it was coming for some time, the problem became quite evident when she realized that looking upon the twisting agonies of Chaos no longer brought her any joy. In fact, she felt nothing at all. She decided to be a little more creative with her evening meal in hopes of sparking her soul. In the vaults of her shard's apartments, there is a trinket which will allow you to experience your recent past. It was assumed that it was once used by the Eldari for the most mundane of clerical tasks. You know, instead of recording a meeting, you could just
relive it.
And, oh yeah, he said that, or they said that, or I need to do this. Of course, the device has little practical use in battle.
That sounds so painful.
But Eredile has always been resourceful. She had a favorite plaything, a fresh and beautiful Monkey human with whom she had been playing mind games for weeks. Eredile wasn't squeamish about physical torture, of course, but she found emotional damage to be far more satisfying, at least until the subject's mind was broken and the horror had to be ramped up. At any rate, Eredile set the memory dice to force her victim to experience the last 5 seconds of their life, and then she began her work. The Monkey not only experienced their slow demise, but did so in a fractal loop. Each 5 seconds of horror was experienced over and over again, layered on the next 5 seconds, and then the next, which were again replayed in their minds by the device while they simultaneously experienced themselves experiencing the previous 5 seconds of torture.
Ew.
Yeah. Eredile only stopped her work so that the victim could get a grip on what was happening to truly understand the situation. As the session dragged on, Eredile became increasingly frustrated. She felt nothing, literally nothing. Yeah. She simply worked over her victim, her psychic meal, with a rote mechanical boredom that did nothing to sate her hunger. Fear began to bloom in her heart, fear of withering away, wasting to a husk of nothing, a ghoul to wander the dark crevasses of Kamara for eternity. There had to be a way, she thought, a better way, but hope took no root in her, not for a long time. So, Eredile knew her people were beginning to notice a change in her. They were loyal, at least insofar as an Archon could hope from her followers. Still, any sign of weakness was likely to be met with bloody insurrection. Mm-hmm. This was the way of things. As such, she kept up a brave front. She demanded that Vorl Zolianth allow her shard to forge out into the stars in search of some ultra-violence against whatever unlucky group of Monkey they came across. It was during one of these bloody raids that the shard of the darkest star clashed with a force of bleeding heart Eldari from Craftworld Lugganath, led by a former Corsair autarch called the Feathered Serpent. There was no love lost between Lugganath and the Cabal of the Dying Sun, and Eredile jumped at the chance to sate her hunger with the elegant pain of their ancient cousins. However, during the battle, Eredile sensed a presence she had not felt since the fall. The Feathered Serpent was none other than Vandir, her brother. He felt her presence too, and ordered his people to fall back from the fight later, Eldari sent a message by courier to the Craftworlders encampment. So this is the letter I wrote after our battle, my battle with Curtis.
Okay.
Vandir Starmantle, Autarch of the Lugganoth, dearest brother, I hope this note is delivered to you in a timely manner, and its courier remains unmolested by the bullies in your employ. I cannot imagine you were as surprised to see me as you in our recent engagement. Your full armor and swooping hog getup did not fool me. I could sense you behind the mask. Also, your body language was reminiscent of the boy I knew from before the universe collapsed around our people and threatened to swallow us whole. Still, I was surprised to see you. I must admit that when I saw your force of naive Puritans arrayed against my own, we were caught off guard. This is a rare occurrence, I assure you. Therefore, I am certain our encounter was not by chance. Moreover, many of your number and many more than had ample opportunity to end the lives of many of our number as they lay wounded and out of reach from aid. They did not. Rather, you and your forces faded back into the sky and the hidden paths from which you came. Your own fallen soldiers, who you were forced to leave behind on the battlefield, have been well looked for, at least the best of my ability. I cannot vouch for every soul, of course. I'm sure you understand the needs of my people and how difficult it is to curtail their satisfying these needs. Still, several are still enjoying my personal hospitality, though a few of them are very thrilled to be here with us on the Shard of Twilight. As such, I would like to propose a meeting. We shall bring along our guests, and you can provide me with some information. Why have you revealed yourself to me after all these years? What do you hope to gain for antagonizing me? Who was that vile creature with the Grynix that you were fighting with? I have heard rumors of this individual, and none of them are good. Nostalgia and curiosity will only temper my fury for so long, Vandir. My patience is limited. I expect and look forward to the return of my courier with your response to my invitation. Your sister, Eldari Shadownoga, Archon, Cabal of the Dying Sun.
Nice.
Yes. So, the whole point of this building this army was to do a Ynnari army.
Right.
I really like the concept of it. I'm not too keen on the rules. I'm not too keen on having to take a named character from the Ynnari, so I don't like that. I don't like named character. Well, I don't mind named characters, but I don't see why I have to have one in my army if I want to play Ynnari.
Right.
So this is setting up the genesis of this Ynnari warband. Mm-hmm. And I thought it would be cool to I really was taken with the Trueborn aspect of this Cabal and everything. So I really wanted to try to use that, but I obviously don't like their feelings of genetic superiority, but at the same time, it's always nice to set up a character who is not great and have some redemption. Right. That's kind of my goal here. I'm not really giving much away in saying that. So the next, I'm not sure where to go to next with this story. Okay. It really depends on who I can get a game with. Maybe I should try to, guide my next game with this army to get the story I want, which makes a lot of sense. I don't know if I would want to fight against the Eldari next. I would think that, but I also don't want to build and paint any more models just yet, especially some Eldari ones. Yeah. I might borrow my buddy's Ynnari, one of his, the Ynnari, what's her name? Dang it, I always forget names.
Oh, the one that hangs out the Grinks. Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember her name either.
Here's the thing.
We all know who it is.
I have the book right here. Yvraine.
Yeah, there we go.
So I might just borrow the Yvraine model and use it for one game and say, and kind of work out the discussion between Vandir and Erdile and Yvraine, as Yvraine tries to convince her that, there is another way forward. And this crisis, this internal crisis that she has, is the best way I could think of to get her to switch allegiances,
Right.
and to break away from the actual Cabal itself.
Okay. Yeah, that
What I
sounds
might-
like it might work.
What might be a good one, dude? What if I actually planned a narrative game against Phil's Drukhari, or against, there's a couple other guys with Drukhari, but against someone else, or Mike's Drukhari, and it would be basically Erdile making it or maybe the what's his name, Vorel Zolianth finds out that she's been treating with the Ynnari, and he comes to wipe her out.
Oh, that could work.
Right? I think that
Yeah.
might be a fun one.
That might be the... Yeah.
If Brian was coming to Adepticon, I would play against him because he likes doing Drukhari versus Drukhari.
Yeah.
But I guess he's not coming. He has other responsibilities.
Well, yeah. I can't actually quote him on that because I'd have to go through and edit, and we might have to put an explicit tag. So, thanks, Brian.
So
I just know he doesn't have any sort of disposable income for 17 more years.
right.
Yeah.
So the obsessions I picked for, I'm using a custom Cabal for these.
Right.
Well, obviously they don't have rules in the book, but quite literally the whole section. That there is a. I apologize if my voice isn't loud enough here because I'm facing away from the. I'm actually facing away from the
Microphone.
microphone right
There we
now because I'm looking through my hymnal here to find the where they talk about the. Here we go. It's cults. This is good. This is good radio.
This is great radio.
This is great radio.
It's perfect.
The Cabal of the Dying Sun. The description is, proportionally, the Dying Sun comprises more trueborn Drukhari than any other Cabal, and they show open disdain for those lesser born. Even Astrobale Vect is viewed amongst the Cabal as an usurper who has elevated himself far beyond his birthright. End quote. And there's an obsession called Disdain for Lesser Beings. This Cabal inhabits some of the highest spires of Kamara, allowing them to, again, I think they're literally talking about these guys here, allowing them to literally look down on their rivals. Convinced of their superiority, these haughty warriors see victory as an absolute certainty, and to flee before their lessers is all but unthinkable. Like, this is literally these guys. It's literally these guys.
Yeah.
And the rule is when a morale test is taken for a unit with this obsession, no more than one model can flee.
Oh, that's not bad. Actually, that's really good for Eldar, considering their leadership's punk.
Well, it's all right, but I've been taking like giant 20-man units of Drukhari to use it with. So you can't just kill 20. You can't just kill 10 of them and expect them to flee.
Right.
Because I'll only lose one model. I have been kind of struggling with the other one. I kind of wanted to do Webway Raiders for rules purposes. Because I was doing a lot of deep striking from the Webway, and it would save me a lot of command points to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That seemed a little none of them seemed really right. But this Cabal also has a lot of old relics, like I said before, sitting in the pinnacle.
Right.
And a lot of Eldari or a lot of Drukhari are a little leery of it because some of them are infused with magic, with warp energy. So they have a lot of nice gear. And a lot of them are Trueborn. They have a lot of Trueborn, and the Trueborn get all the best gear. And it's an old Cabal. So I decided to go with Toxin Crafters. And it's about, like, Toxin Crafters means that they're really good at making poisons from a lore perspective.
Right.
But instead, I'm thinking, so here's the rule. When resolving an attack made with a poisoned weapon, an unmodified roll of 6 adds 1 to the damage characteristic of that weapon. And this is for poison.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking instead of calling that toxin crafters, instead it's just they have more advanced weaponry that they've collected over the years. They have these, these old arcane relics that they like their shredders and stuff are all, well, not shredders aren't poison, but you get the idea.
Right.
So I'm thinking that might work. There's nothing else that really makes sense for that thing, for this Cabal. So that's what I'm using.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the witch cults and how they're gonna come into the story. I think I'm gonna include them later. I think maybe
as you figure them out a little bit better.
Yeah, and I think maybe that might come from my battle with Mike. Like,
right.
Maybe there'll be some witches in his army, and maybe they'll see what's going on, and I'll start adding them after that battle.
Yeah, that sounds like it would work. I mean, that's one of the things about doing this narrative play is sometimes you have to figure out what works, and who lived, who died. What did the last scenario do?
Yeah. And I think it would make sense for me to use the stratagem that lets you take extra relics.
Oh, okay.
For this army, but the HQ selection is so limited.
Oh yeah,
it's really, really limited. Maybe when I'll try to do that a little bit more next time. This time I took Drazar just because I wanted to use him. So right. I didn't actually say he's there in the lore of the story, but I just wanted to use him, so he can't have a relic. But next time I'll take my Archon and her Drakon.
Right.
Drakon is kind of like a second in command, and I'll give them both a relic to represent the fact that they are this Cabal that has a lot of relics. I did use it was a cool one in the game that we played.
Right.
I should have taken notes on this, but notes are for jerks. I bought a whole notebook so I could write notes in it, and I totally didn't do that, which is fine.
Yeah.
Flipping through pages is really good radio. And this is you know what's really good radio? Making that same joke multiple times.
Oh, that's incredible radio.
Yeah, saying, wow, this is great radio. Just to fill the airtime with the Helm of Spite. I think it's perfect. The bearer can attempt to deny one psychic power in each enemy's psychic phase in the same manner as a psyker. In addition, each time the bearer makes a successful deny the witch test, the psyker that attempted to manifest the power suffers perils of the warp. That's neat. Yeah. I like it. And it definitely happened to Yvrain during our battle. It was really funny.
Right.
I was amused by it. So that's a lot of fun. What do you think, dude? So, going forward, I think maybe I'll see if, and once everything gets put together and I've got some Eldar, I might try to play them as Ynnari, but I'll just say, hey, in narrative games, I'll just be like, hey, can I just not take one of the special characters? Because it's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, that was always kind of my gripe about certain armies that, you have to take a special character or the army only works well with special characters. I mean, I don't think I rarely take them unless I absolutely positively have to. Right.
They do have the Vizark here. I could use the Vizark as one of the, I don't know, as the Drakon, or maybe as Vandir's second in command type thing. He's supposed to be a sword master.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, if there's a way you can take a named character and then make them, rename them and then make them a minor character.
Yeah.
Yeah, just this is here for army build. Let them die. Oops, did I say that out loud?
So for the Eldari side, I might be doing. I kind of want to do a winged autarch for Vandir. He used to be in a Corsair fleet,
Right.
but he shifted he's been hanging out with Craftworld Lugganoth for a while, so he'll be flying around. I might give him some other flying duders.
Yeah.
Swooping hawks to hang around with, but I really want to do Storm Guardians.
Okay.
But I need more close combat. So I've been looking around for 3D printed Eldari Chainswords, so I can put them on regular plastic Guardians. Some of the, I could just use a bunch of my Dark Eldar bits that I have.
Right.
But I would really just rather, I love Eldar Chainswords. I think they're cool. So I don't know. We'll see.
Check Pop Goes the Pop Goes the Monkey. Yeah, they may have. Nah, they may not have that.
I'll look around.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely just buy plastic Guardians from, Flip Side. I just need Chainswords to go on them.
Right.
And that'll be the start of it. I think that'll be good. But yeah, that's the lore that I came up with for my army, and those are kind of the thoughts I had for going forward. I'm really happy we did this because I've been wanting to do that for a while. I felt that I haven't really done my due diligence on that storyline for this army. Now I want to play it I want to play it more now that I've done that.
Right. That's a good idea. I mean, you've got your lore now. You can figure out where it's going to go from here. Yeah.
Yep. And again, this focuses on doing that personal narrative instead of having to sit down and try to get everybody together for a huge narrative campaign or a huge narrative event. You can just put the narrative together for your own army and use the resources you have at hand, i.e. your friends and everything, and the terrain you have. And you get together and you find out who in your group is most amenable to it, and you just do it. And it's good. Sometimes things don't exactly turn out the way you want. You keep playing it, like we said in our episode on personal narratives. You let the game play out, but if there is a natural stopping point for the game before everybody gets murdered,
right, you
can do that. You can, like in this game, we went to the full 6 turns or whatever, and there was almost nothing left.
Yeah.
But that wasn't going to be the narrative that I was going to tell, but I wanted to finish our game.
Right.
I don't want to be rude.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But still, you take things that happen during the game and you make it a part of the narrative as well. If something interesting happens, you can fold that in. If things happen that you don't expect, sometimes that makes for the best stories.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that is my narrative. Thanks for listening to it. I really appreciate it. You want to take a quick break and come back and talk about your Thousand Suns army?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, cool.
We'll be right back.
Come here, boy. Get the ball. Come on, Max. Get the ball. Mom, Max won't get the ball. He's lazy.
I think I know why your Zote is being lazy, Jenny.
Why, Mom?
Because you forgot to feed him Zotobix today.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Zotobix contains all the nutrients and random animal parts a growing Zote craves. It not only provides our Zote with the energy it needs to play with you and protect our home, but it also keeps its chitinous shell fresh and shiny.
Oh, boy. I'd better feed Max his Zotobix.
Yes, you had.
Zotobix is made in part from grade
Max,
A
time for
Astra
dinner.
Militarum post-engagement byproduct and is infused with 112 essential vitamins
No,
and
Max,
minerals
down.
harvested from your Zote's natural habitat, the finest desert devils.
Ah!
Zotobix is available in any shopping center on worlds where Zotes are allowed or where the Imperium's inexorable influence has not yet reached.
Hey, mofos. Are you looking for more Warhammer 40k video content? Well, the Scarred Cast posts regular battle reports as well as tactics and strategy videos. Be sure to check out all the cool hobby content for the avid tabletop wargamer. That's Scarred Cast, Skared on YouTube.
Hello, everyone. The Masters of the Forge is now a proud member of the NPC, the Narrative Podcast Consortium. Our aim is to inspire your hobby through the rich lore of the 41st millennium. If you enjoy our podcast, then make sure to check out these other awesome shows, where you can get coverage on campaigns, Black Library, and all kinds of general topics of the 40k background.
The NGC 40k podcast also provides in-depth campaign coverage, audio dramas, and free-flowing narrative campaign creation.
The Adeptus Terra podcast also features in-depth discussions of the lore and commentary on the hobby.
Oh, and sexy English voices.
Oh, yeah.
The Masters of the Forge brings the world of 40k to life on your tabletop, with discussion on the lore, backed up by narrative-themed rules and battle reports.
Of course, this is only a fraction of the topics covered by the podcasts of the NPC. Please tune in to find out more.
Well, and we're back. I hope you feel better, Jason. I feel better.
Oh, I feel peachy. Still awake.
Awesome.
All right, so I guess we're talking about my narrative army. Mm-hmm. All right, so I do not have the lore and whatnot that Adam has. I've been wanting to build a Thousand Suns army for a while, but I didn't have all the stuff that I wanted because I just hadn't. Yeah, it's something I've been wanting to do, but I just haven't done it.
Right.
So, anyways, I do have some lore that I've put together, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in there because it's kind of fragmented and scattershot, but I've got some ideas for the main characters. So I'm going through and building this around a group called the Nine. So there are 9 exalted sorcerers that are dedicated to finding and acquiring relics, and also hunting renegade Thousand Suns, those who have basically decided to turn their eyes from Magnus.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Their thing is that they summon demons as throwaway cannon fodder during battle. So they actually they kind of look at both Zangors and cultists as being a little more valuable, and they for whatever reason they have that amount of, and I shudder to say this, to have that shred of humanity. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and they're cautioned, by using demons and by not completely trying to kill all their, human and Zangor followers, has allowed them to live extraordinarily long lives. All 9 were minor players during the Horus Heresy. None were librarians. So we have. It's funny because the list I'm working with is really 3 exalted sorcerers, but I'm starting to flesh out the lore for everybody else. So they work in groups of 3 and triads. So the first triad, which is the one I'm working on now, we have a guy who's got a dual power sword and another one with the staff, and then the arm and 30k model. And I have them set up like the dual power sword was a member of the Kinatai occult blade cabal during the Horus Heresy. For those of you who are 30k players, you know what I'm talking about because
although I don't, so you should tell me.
So it's what's really cool is in Book 7 Inferno, which is has all 1,000 Suns rules for the Horus Heresy, and also kind of broke the Horus Heresy there for a bit because Magnus was so incredibly well powered. One of the units is this Kinatai occult blade cabal, so they're dual sword wielding psychers, and they're an okay unit. They're not like they're not one of the broken units, so no one runs them, I guess. But they're really cool. They carry 2 blades. They've got the 2 Kopesh blades, and I went and bought an upgrade kit because it looked cool. Yeah. And
well, that's why you do it.
Well, exactly. So what I did was with him, I was going through my bits, and I have this, dual power sword, or this dual sword wielder. I was like, okay, this guy's perfect for that list. And then the other 2 for this first triad are both from the, oh man, I hate pronouncing this, the Amatara Occult Intercession Cabal. So these are the Psyker Scouts / Assassins, which I like the unit. I don't know that it's the best unit in 30K, but I've run it the last few games I played with my 1,000 Suns in 30K. I really enjoyed playing them. I thought they were fun. Really narrative. Have a psychic ability that's essentially an assassinate. Psychic ability, and I thought that was really well written, like a really well thought out idea. Does it translate well on the tabletop? Who cares? So, because that's me. So that's my first triad. They're basically Horus Heresy from those specific units. In the second triad, I had another Psyker Scout Assassin, and another Kenitai Occult Blade Cabal member, and then I added a Vigilator, which for our 30K players know what this is, but basically it was kind of a consul, a lieutenant that was good at sabotage. Oh. And so I thought that would be really cool. I mean, I built 2 of them because I liked the rule set so much. And in the third triad, we have another Vigilator, but we also have a Moritat, which was kind of a lone wolf, doesn't work with others very well, basically sent in to, kill, assassinate, and whatnot. And I actually kit bashed / converted a Moritat for my 1,000 Suns / Blood Ravens, and this gives me a chance to bring him back because he is one of my favorite kit bashes. Not my best, but really like one of those that has a lot of character. So it gives me a chance to bring him back and actually put him on the tabletop. And then my third member of the third triad will be a Breacher Sergeant. I'm still figuring out what to do for this guy. How I'm going to model that. I'll probably figure out some sort of cool shield to put on the base or maybe on the backpack. I don't know. That one I'm still there on.
Right.
But yeah, these are kind of the ideas I came up with, and I kind of mentioned this earlier. What I want to do is have this army to where I can use it, in 40K, of course, but I can also use it in 30K to kind of build that backstory for these guys, because they were in my lore, they're part of a large group that were searching for, they're a large group searching for a renegade member of the 1,000 Suns, Dressar Karum. He was a member of the Amarada Occult Intercession Cabal, the Psyker Assassins, that aligned with Malkador during the Horus Heresy and the Knights Errant. And somehow during the Horus Heresy, he disappeared. And so this is a model I've already built and painted and play with all the time. I have him kind of showing up and disappearing from the timeline, kind of randomly. And so he's currently aligned with my Radical Inquisitor, Kateri Nayeli of the Ordo Chronos. So I'm actually using this guy in my Kill Team games.
Why not, right?
Yeah, so I've got their target building him up, and then I can build up these guys. Let's see. So yeah, these guys are loyal to Magnus, but they have been known to work with Armin in the past. I wanted to put that in there just so that I could use them in APOC games. I don't know if any of y'all remember, I posted a 1,000 Suns list on Facebook. There was an APOC list. There was like 9 Exalted Sorcerers, Armin, and Magnus, which I think people actually thought I was going to bring that to a friendly 40K game, and there were people who were I think you were one that said, nothing can go wrong with this. This is fine. This is fine. It's like, no, this is APOC. So anyways, loyal to Magnus, but known to work with Armin. They're all on sorcerers. They're all sorcerers on Discs of Tzeentch. So I wanted them to make sure, be fast attack, be able to hit and run, smash, grab things, assassinate if that needs to happen, and get out. That's kind of their thing. These are the guys I'm magnetizing because I would like to have them on the discs, but I would also actually like to use them inside of, other types of games. One point on the Moritat, I wanted to make sure and have him magnetized because the Moritat in 30K can take a jump pack, which if I'm going to do 1,000 Suns Moritat, he's not going to have a jump pack. He's going to have a Disc of Zinch that he zips around on. That's going to be his thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's more... It's just more... It's more lore-based. So, let me see. One other thing, this is something that I'm really want to push, because people will... I know that people are going to talk to me about my list. They typically do, especially with 1,000 Suns. They don't have a whole lot of rubrics, just because they're more interested in hit and run tactics and relying on demons. So, rubrics can be quite slow. I mean, I realize they can teleport in and out, but they are slow. My note here, think the Green Goblin / Hobgoblin from the Spider-Man comics. Come in, smash the place up, get out. So,
okay.
Let me see. Hold on, I'm going through my notes, everyone. Backstory. So I need to flesh out the backstory, but the members of the Nine were away from Prospero whenever the Space Wolves attacked. They were on an information retrieval mission for Ammon. Ammon was Magnus's lieutenant, and actually was, I think, the person who found Magnus. And so he kind of became this head of this almost secret society / order of information retrieval and gathering. And so, yeah, the Nine are the last surviving members of that mission, and I got to kind of figure that out. I was thinking of...
Oh, that's cool. Do a short story or some paragraphs about that mission.
Yeah, to get kind of the information, because in my head, Dressar Quarum, their quarry now, was a member of their group, and something happened, and he became separated, or he left, or... one of the interesting stories that always show up in the Horus Heresy is, they send Garrow or what's the other guy? This is great radio. One of the other Knights Errant to go in and pick out people to show up and say, "Here, you're coming with us. Here, you're coming with me." And so, what would happen if this happened where Quarum has been removed from this team? What does it leave behind? So I thought that'd be kind of a fun bit of lore to play with. So yeah, 40k specific, but could be using 30k. I'm not getting a whole lot of 30k games in. I do have the black books with the 1,000 Suns and Demons rules, but those books are heavy. Hold on, I'm reading off my notes, everyone. Those books are heavy. Seriously, they'll break your back. Not sure if I would use this list in 30k. I went and built a list. It's not optimized, but it was something fun to put together. I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, that's kind of the lore and background of these guys so far.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's a really good start, and you fleshed out quite a bit, and I like the ties to the Horus Heresy, which I feel like, after reading some of those stories from ADB, it's important. That is, if you're playing a Chaos faction, that's gonna be the bread and butter of your army's background. How did they end up being where they are today?
Yeah.
And if it is a thing like the 1,000 Suns or whatever, that's a big monolithic...
That's a lot of background lore. Lots of stuff there to mine.
Yeah, so what you want, you're going to want to actually get specific, right?
Yeah.
Get very specific about what your specific army, what they were doing. So instead of just copy-pastaing the lore of that legion into your lore, find a specific event like you did.
Yeah.
Find a specific sub-faction. I think that's an excellent start. That's really good information for people, I think.
Well, one of the things I've been wanting to do is create this, story of, and I think this is what their story is going to be. They're kind of space Hulk hunters, that they're a Zone Mortalis group, that's what they do, is get in, raid these areas and get out. Mm-hmm. And they have that sort of technical strength. And that goes with my love of playing Zone Mortalis. And as I look over my right shoulder, my Zone Mortalis board. Yeah. I set it up this past week whenever I was feeling decent one night, just to see what needs to be added, what extra stuff needs to happen. And so I can now look at that Zone Mortalis board like anytime I want, which is kind of nice because I'd stored it. But anyways, that's kind of what I'm wanting to do is, create this backstory for them that's, they weren't on Prospero, they were off on a mission, and they were just one of those groups of Thousand Suns that happened with. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's great. So what were you thinking about using for your rules for this army? Did you have any thoughts?
Well, I went through and I do have what's the name of this book anyway? Ritual of the Damned. There we go.
It sounds like you started from a list instead of from a faction.
Right. I started from this idea of I wanted fast running, moving, and I've kind of went through and read the cults of the Legion a few times, and they're different than the 30k rules, of course. Okay. But I started thinking about what would be best, and there's 9 of them, and I went through and reread it again last night, and I think that I'm wanting these guys to be fast. I'm wanting them to be able to move across the table. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking maybe the Cult of Duplicity. Okay. Which, let me see. The psychic power they have is called Sorcerer's Facade. And this is kind of interesting. It's a warp charge of 7, but you can, if it's manifested, you can select one friendly Cult of Duplicity unit within 6 inches of the psyker, and you can remove them and set them up anywhere else in the battlefield that's more than 9 inches away from enemy models. So you can teleport your units all over, which I think would work. That'd be kind of an interesting idea for kind of a high-speed moving group,
Especially like your rubrics are so slow.
Right.
And if your characters are jumping around on their discs and whatnot, you can at least use that ability to teleport those rubrics around and whatever.
Because I do have rubrics, it's just I don't want to have a lot of them, not because I don't want to paint them or anything, but it's just because they move so slow. And one cool thing is that the Warlord trait for the Cult of Duplicity is Duplicitous Tactician. So at the start of the first battle round, you can select up to D3 Cult of Duplicity units, remove them, and then set them up anywhere, following the normal deployment rules for those units. Mm-hmm. So, you can go, it's basically a redeploy. And I think that could be, pretty interesting.
I like that.
The Sorcerer's Arcana, so, let me see, blah, 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 this is their relic. At the start of the battle round, roll 1d6 if a model with the relic is on the battlefield. On a roll of 1, your opponent gains 1 command point. On a roll of 4 up, you gain 1. Which I like that rule because it's so random and it makes me laugh. So maybe Duplicity might be the one I'm most looking at.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I went through and read them again last night to try and figure out what I wanted, and there's a couple of the cults is like, no, that's definitely not. But Duplicity kind of came as an idea, and the Cult of Time, although I don't know that the Cult of Time really works with what I'm doing because it's more bringing models back than moving models around, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, they go back in time and they're like, hey, by the way, you shouldn't do that. That's dangerous.
Yeah, pretty much. yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's kind of the thing I'm running with. A lot of demons. The thing is that sometimes I'll come up with an idea and then I have to go back and figure out what rules do I need to use to pull this off.
Right, yeah.
And I want to use a lot of demon troops just because they're expendable, they're throwaway. Who cares if a horror dies? Big deal. Which means I'm either going to use demons in my Thousand Suns list, or I'm going to go through and create like a demon army and just have a core Thousand Suns list, and then I have notes here. Not an optimized list. Yes, I know the demons troop means that I lose a Thousand Suns keyword. Yes, I know this means my psychic powers don't have the same range.
Wait, why would you lose a Thousand Suns keyword?
If you have demon troops inside the Thousand Suns list, then there's a. It's not that it's not battle forged. It's that.
Oh, you don't get the special extra
you don't get the special
rules.
extra rules, which I just kind of. Whatever.
Well, you could if you're playing matched play, you could summon the Demon Zone.
That's true. I was thinking about maybe just having a demon list. The only problem is that I do want the Mutilith, which is a demon unit, but it's only in the Thousand Suns book. It's not in the Demons book.
Okay.
And I only want it because it looks cool. It's not really... I mean, it's not exceptionally powerful. It's kind of more of a distraction Carnifex that if you ignore it, it's going to hurt you, but it's not that bad, you know?
Oh, you know what? I think I remember something. I actually asked this question about Imperium.
Yeah.
If you take, say if you have Space Marines and you take a... and you summon a assassin, do you lose your what do you call it? Jason,
the extra rules,
the doctrines?
Yeah.
And the answer was yes, you lose them.
Yeah,
if you summon a demon. So I guess if you summon demons, I guess that would also happen?
I guess. I don't know.
Do we care?
I kind of don't care, because at the end of the day, it's like, they're horrors. Kill them. Yeah. You know, shoot them. You know, because if you don't shoot them, those screamers are going to be in your face. Oh, right. Sorry. Not only in your face, but they flew by you and did damage as they rolled by. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I love screamers.
They're such cool.
They're such fun models.
They're fast and they're adorable.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's just like, hey, look, I've got manta rays that are flying through.
Oh yeah, like
they're so cute.
It's and they're so deadly because they can kill a man who would happily wrestle with an alligator.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Ouch.
Oh, too soon.
Yeah, that's too soon.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, I know exactly. I mean, the thing is that they're just really cool models. It's one of the first, like, I remember seeing those models whenever I first started thinking, those are awesome. I want those.
Right.
But I don't know how I could use those because I don't want to run a demons list.
No, yeah.
And so what did I do when I decided I was going to run a demons list? I got a bunch of them. So I've got 11 painted and ready to go. I've got 3 more on sprue that I need to put together because I have issues. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you have entire collections.
Yeah. I've got stuff. It's been nice, because I went through and said I was just doing Blood Ravens for a long time, but now I'm actually creating other things, and this should have probably gone underneath games played, but I forgot. Our Inquisition Wars thing, what we're going to start doing is creating kind of a wandering monster mechanic so that, we can go through and add in these extra crazy things just for giggles.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, my collection's getting larger, and Daw's got a pretty good, nice collection. It'll give us a chance to, hey, here's some demons. Hey, look, some Dark Eldar dropped in. And here's the Talos paint engine, which is not in Kill Team, so we just have to kind of make up some rules for it. So, fun stuff like that.
Dude, that's freaking awesome. I would love to see see those. We are planning on doing an Inquisition Wars episode very soon.
Yes.
I think I'd be very interested in so the Inquisition Wars are a real thing, right? Like, it's a thing that happened?
I think it is a thing that happened. This gives me a chance to give a shout out to Adon, although I don't think he listens. Or if he does listen, he listens at 1.25 times the speed or whatever, which means my voice is a little bit higher, which is a little odd, but whatever. Yeah, I got the idea from Adon talking about it for years on the ICs. He and Mike Montesa from Endgame had done that. And so I thought, you know what, the more I heard about it, and it kept sitting in the back of my mind, is like, oh, great opportunity to kit bash. And then I've got this narrative group that I'm playing with, and thought, this is up their alley, and and one of my friends who didn't think he was going to be as into it because he does like playing War Machine, but he loves skirmish games. Has bought into the Space Pope lock, stock, and Gene Stealer cult barrel. So so I guess if I meet Adon, I'll have to thank him profusely for the Inquisition War stuff that he sent me.
He likes being thanked with tequila.
Oh, does he?
And
okay.
wine.
Okay. Well, I can't take that to the airport. Oh, well, but yeah, that's so. Yeah, these. I don't know. What do you think? Is there any ideas you have for the Thousand Suns, or?
I think that just fleshing out the origin story. I think you got a really good start there.
Okay.
I would definitely like to hear more about that, like last conflict, right? I think that'll be really good to see. And then I would say any characteristics that those 9 have,
right,
that I think allow their characteristics to be developed partially during that battle.
Yeah.
So like, why is this person like this, or where did this person get this relic from?
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be something that would really work nicely for your for to get a hold of, to get a handle on your army or whatever. I think that would work.
I think that as I'm looking at, because what happened was I put together my stuff and went back through and said, hey, I've got these characters for my Blood Ravens that aren't getting played because I really had built them as Thousand Suns / 30K guys. And so I started looking through, I was like, okay, I can change the paint on these paint scheme fairly easy. And that gave me an idea of where to run with, because I had these models that I put a lot of time into, like that Moritad. And so...
they're all in the red scheme, right?
Yeah. I'm doing... Oh, did I forget to mention that? Okay. I'm doing the red scheme, the old 30K red scheme, because it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm doing the candy apple red because, yeah, man, let's roll with that. Yeah. So, and I like that color scheme. It looks, over the top. It looks, that it's... When I first saw the scheme, whenever the Forge World first released that paint, what was it? That painting rubric, or not rubric, but rubric pun. Sorry, but that painting guide. I just thought, this is something I want to run with because I had not thought of ever doing that sort of thing. It would really kind of push the whole. What technique do I have to pull off to do this? So, yeah,
right,
yeah. So yeah, these guys are all red and silver, well, red, gold, and white-ish. So, yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's freaking great, dude. I think you're doing okay. I think you can really take this and march forward with it. To be perfectly honest, I don't see any problem with what you're working on here. I think you have a really good foot forward.
Thanks,
for developing this army. I've always found it somewhat daunting to consider the idea of making up lore for a pre-existing army.
Yeah, it's scary, right? Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure what to do with it. And I think you've done a really good job of coming up with a way to do that.
Well, I got to thank Aaron Dembski-Bowden because Talon of Horus and Black Legion were definitely big, influences on this idea.
Right. Yeah, if you're playing Chaos, you should
read those books
and read those books. Yeah, because that's going to really, really help.
And if you're into Thousand Suns, definitely read those books because that guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Sandra Kane, or however you pronounce his name. That guy rules.
Oh, yeah. He's really good.
Oh, man. He's so cool. It's such a cool model. Such a cool character. Just amazing. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's about it for that. So, shall we take a break?
So I have one more question. Has the doing this lore for your army, has it made you want to expand your army at all? Are you looking at expansion beyond the Mutilith Vortex Beast?
Yeah, like I'd probably need to do more rubrics. I mean, I know that. And so I could go through and add more rubrics, which I could then use in both 30k and 40k as like veterans. I also have, and this is embarrassing, but might as well say it. I have a bunch of plastic Marines from the Horus Heresy, like a ton. Because I thought, I need to go through, and I think I bought an extra box of the Mark IIIs and an extra box of the Mark IV Marines, and then someone I know dumped a ton of Mark IIIs on me. And he shall remain nameless. And then another friend of ours dumped a bunch of Mark IVs on me for a reduced price. And Jordan shall remain nameless also. There we go. Yeah, so I've if I decide that I want to go ahead and like go full bore on a on a Thousand Suns army for 30k, I've got it,
Nice.
So, and I probably will, just because I do like playing Horus Heresy 30k 7th edition. I just never find anybody who wants to play 7th edition. But, it's me. I'll just go through and proxy, or I'll say, hey, what? Okay, fine, I'll do a 40k game, but, this is the way I'm going to run this. So, yeah. So yeah, okay. there will be more editions. I'm doing mostly demons right now because I've got a lot of them and I haven't finished painting them because I need to get more than one color for Adepticon. So yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So are there things I'm wanting to do? Yeah, there's a few things, but I have this really cool Land Raider that's a Forge World Land Raider that I would like to go ahead and paint for them, just because I think it has both rules in 30k and 40k, so that'll look awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so there's stuff that I've definitely have ideas to expand it. I want to go ahead and play this a few times to figure out, what works best, what doesn't work best. How can I move things around? So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all right. That's awesome. Yeah, I personally, like I said, I'm going for the Eldari, but I think that's going to have to be a little bit down the line. So maybe we'll talk more about this obviously we'll talk about our hobby progress and stuff as we go. Maybe we'll return to the lore of these, or perhaps we'll have our own narratives with them, and we'll talk about how those narratives are going forward.
I think that this is going to be my list running for at least a year, if not a couple of years, just because I'm really enjoying it, and a lot of the other stuff I'm wanting to do, I'm wanting to turn into like kill team type things or APOC things. So this will probably be my 40k army for a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah.
Nice.
Hopefully.
All right, cool. Yeah, same here. Well, no, not same here. I just want to play everything. I want to play everything. So we'll see how that goes.
That's my problem also, but just like, oh man, I've got to transport this. Oh man.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right. So let's take a quick break and we'll come back and close out the show.
Are you looking for a pressure-free hobby Facebook group? Hobby Streak. Are you looking for a community where you can keep your hobby progress on track? Hobby Streak. Do you want a Facebook group that focuses on all aspects of the hobby? Hobby Streak. Hobby Streak is a Facebook group for building, painting, list building, playing games, and everything in between. Hobby Streak. Post daily updates showing or telling about your progress for friendly and helpful support from a great community. Try Hobby Streak today.
Potty break, I need to have a potty break. I gotta pee, I've had a coffee, and some water, and some coffee, and then some coffee again.
Blood Ravens Chapter is a Facebook group set up and run by passionate fans of the mysterious Space Marine chapter. They have weekly features, regular competitions, and an encouraging community ethos designed to let people get the most from their hobby. Search for Blood Ravens Chapter Plus on Facebook using the plus symbol if you're a fan or collector of these heroes of the Imperium. Knowledge is power. Guard it well.
All right, Jason, thanks for joining me through that wonderful chat. I had a lot of fun talking about these armies. I love talking about armies and how people are creatively using the lore and the rules to develop fun narratives. I think we should keep doing this. I think we should have guests on to talk about theirs.
Yeah, definitely, because there's some people out there who have some amazing ideas and amazing schemes. So
Scary has been chatting us up, saying, "Hey, I'm happy to come on whenever." Maybe we'll have him because he usually plays tournament armies, but he does love the narrative. So maybe we can have. I know it would be another Drukhari thing, but it would be nice to have him on. And maybe if any listeners want to show and tell their armies, let us know, and maybe we'll have you on to do a segment and talk about it.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a lot of fun. Okay, cool. Next episode is going to be about Adepticon. We're going to be chatting Adepticon. That'll be released during Adepticon, so obviously it'll probably be a short one. I'm not sure whether it'll be screw it, we'll record there and just slam it out, or what. We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, I've got to figure out what gear I can take.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, your little handheld works great as long as you can get it. As long as you can get it uploaded to Google Drive, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, I can do that because I've taken that handheld. Let's just say I've taken that places that I don't know that my boss knows about. So don't worry, nothing scary. Just cross country. If
you're at Adepticon, please let us know.
Yeah.
I think we were invited to the Freebooter Network thing, so I need to get back to Terrace about that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what day it is. We may be busy. I don't know.
Come find me though, people.
Yeah.
Because
come find us.
Say hello to us. It's always nice to talk to listeners. And I have a bag of dice.
Presents. Yeah.
I've got presents, man, and I'm not trying to buy off listeners.
Well, you could.
Well, I could, but it's more of a, hey, if you've dealt with me or played a game against me, you get some dice.
Fan-freaking-tastic. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, until then...
Play the game the way you want to.
We'd love it if you could give us a positive rating and review on iTunes.
If you'd like to keep in contact with us, you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter by searching for Masters of the Forge. And you can follow our hobby progress on Instagram with the hashtag Masters of the Forge.
You can also contact us at mastersoftheforge@gmail.com if you have any questions, topic suggestions, or if you'd like to advertise your creative hobby endeavor. Thanks again for listening.
This podcast is protected by the Creative Commons Attribution, No Derivatives, Non-Commercial International License. More information about this license and contact information if you have any requests can be found at our blog, mastersoftheforge.com. The music used in this podcast was made by Parad of the duo Sublevel 3. The track is used with his permission.
It's such a good feeling to play games your way. It's such a happy feeling 40K'ing away. And when you throw dice with story in mind, it's such a wonderful way to unwind. It's a good feeling, a very good feeling, the feeling you know that we'll be back when the fortnight's new, and we'll have new ideas for you, and you'll have things you'll want to talk about. We will too.